We're getting brand new details on the Biden bribery scheme. House Republicans doing the FBI document alleging that then Vice President Biden was paid $5 million by an executive with Ukrainian natural gas firm Burisma, which you may remember is the same company that his son Hunter Biden had a board seat on. The president brushing it off by using his signature catchphrase.
The bribery allegation, Congresswoman Nancy Mace says there's damning evidence in the FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response to the congressional Republicans?
Where's the money? I'm joking.
Mr. President,
it's a bunch of malarkey.
So, Jesse, the money is in all those shell companies that Hunter Biden allegedly set up to basically money launder to many different Biden family members.
He's taunting us, isn't he? He's like, yeah, where is it?
You're like, we know where it is.
You haven't found it yet, right? God, this guy's cocky. So you have $10 million going to Joe and Hunter from Burisma. This allegation popped in 2017. That means the FBI had this allegation during the impeachment over Ukraine. Donald Trump fingered the Biden family for this exact scheme and got impeached for it, and the FBI knew it had legs the entire time. And then in the election, they spiked a laptop till, and then they raided his house. But everything's fair at the Department of Justice. How about this? The Burisma guy is paying Joe Biden $5 million to what? To fire the prosecutor, which Joe Biden admitted on tape he fired. There you go. That's exactly what this impeachment hoax was all about. And then the guy says, but we're going to disguise it through shell companies so the money doesn't actually get seen going to Joe's bank account. Wait a second. It's exactly how the Chinese set up the money. Launder it through shell companies, but it doesn't hit Joe's bank account. It only hits 9 other members of the Biden family's bank account, like his granddaughter and his brother and his corrupt son. So it doesn't matter if you don't pay Joe, if you pay the whole family, and then the whole family pays for houses and cars and tuition. That's a bribe. And that's an impeachable offense. And the fact that you now have this allegation and Tony Bobulinski and the laptop and the Comer records from one bank, remember there's 10 banks left, who knows what they're going to find in those 10 other banks. This thing's just getting started, and that's why the Republicans have to open up an impeachment inquiry to get to the bottom of this corruption.
So, Greg, when Joe Biden continues to deny all of this, even though he was Hunter Biden's business partner, isn't he just insulting the intelligence of everybody who can look at this and go, it's obvious that he was benefiting from Hunter Biden's business dealings?
And it hurts Hunter's feelings because he worked really hard on this stuff. You know, the people in the media, they drooled over what they could get on the Trump family business, but at least those businesses were real. Even Trump University sold the name. It was a licensing deal, but they produced profits in exchange for services, Trump hotels, whatever, real estate. The only product the Biden family produces are empty crack vials and outbreaks of chlamydia. I mean, they had to launder that money. God knows where Hunter was inserting those bills. But it's not so much that the Biden family is a criminal family, because they are. It's that the media is so lethargic about this corruption. You know, there's nothing that comes close to this that the Trump family did. You wonder where Woodward and Bernstein are. But I'll have to say, turnabout is fair play. The problem with weaponizing things that have to be fair to all people, your turn in the barrel will come. I'm not that interested in locking up Hunter or Joe Biden, but the other side would lock up every one of us if they could. So let's go. Let's effing go. Let's take him out. Let's put him behind bars.
All of them, Pelosi.
All of them.
I
Every Biden. Dr. Jill, she's not a real doctor. How long has she been practicing on patients, telling them that she's an actual doctor?
Jessica, you know, the media has tried to spin this as if Republicans are kind of making up a scandal about the Biden family. Democrats have also said that. But the Obama White House and State Department had serious concerns about Burisma corruption. In fact, the press office was asked about this and Hunter Biden's dealings at the time and his connection to this firm. And yet Joe Biden continues to say he had nothing to do with it. I mean, the evidence shows to the contrary at a very basic level.
So I agree with Elizabeth Warren, who was the first person who was running for president in 2020, Democrat, to come out and say that that arrangement, having your son working for a company like that, would not be acceptable and that the ethics rules need to be revised. And I think that we can all agree that that should be the case. It shouldn't be allowed. And Joe should say that this isn't something that he would do again. But we have yesterday Chad Pergram, our own,
Our very own.
That's what we're supposed to say. Our
Yes.
very own Chad Pergram, which by saying our very own makes him the best, which he is, saying that a source familiar with the document told Fox News, to be clear, the document does not say Joe Biden received any payments. Now, I know what you're going to say.
We disowned
This is
him.
not how the mob works. Chad, I'm sorry. Your tenure has been great, but Greg has disowned you. I understand when you're a mafia family, it's never written down, right?
Yeah.
Because you have a really rich granddaughter off of it. But Republicans like Comer, Nancy Mace, Chuck Grassley continue to go on TV and say that they have a thing, they have evidence of a thing that they don't have. On the Victor Shokin front.
Wait, the family was bribed.
No. Joe Biden,
No, the
they
family
say that
was
Joe Biden.
bribed.
No, well, you're not going to be able to put
Okay, I'll
Joe
just
away.
bribe your husband. You're innocent. I'll just bribe your husband, and then you do what I want you to do. That's how it works, Jessica.
What's great about making these circuitous arguments is that you can never be wrong, but you also can never be right. So we'll just keep going.
Well, I
around.
just was right.
Well, Judge, you know,
Not according to sane
isn't this what
people.
this has
I feel like
always
I'm on
been
the set of
about
Moonlighting.
Joe Biden's role in this? Like, as a former vice president, the current president.
Are you referring to the big guy?
Yeah, the big guy. It's always been about the big
It's
guy.
always been about Joe Biden. You have to wonder how a guy who's been in Washington for 47 years, a half a century, with nothing to speak of, has attained the highest levels of power in the United States. In some of the shadiest business dealings that we have ever seen in the history of this country, in the most weaponized Justice Department and law enforcement agencies and intelligence agencies. I mean, I don't even need to go much past that, but what I will tell you is that the 1023 that came out saying Joe Biden was given 5, his son was given 5 in Ukraine, you know, that country where we keep giving billions, Raskin comes out, a Democrat congressman, as if he knows everything, right? He comes out and he says, it was likely to be disinformation. I mean, don't they have another playbook? It sounds like everything that the Democrats don't like is disinformation. But Bill Barr, the Attorney General of the United States, comes out and he says the information was checked out. It was determined that it's not likely that it was disinformation. The exact opposite, and that it was to be continued in terms of the investigation. And Bill Barr doesn't understand why they haven't concluded that investigation. I will add my humble opinion, that is that the very existence of any information relating to the Bidens will be covered up. He is corrupt. And the amazing part of it is in this 1023 that came in June of 2020, before the laptop, before Bobolinsky, in that 1023, the FBI credible source says they talk about the big guy. So we hear from the big guy from the same credible source that's corroborated in the laptop, corroborated by Bobolinsky, corroborated now by Comer and his information, and the shell companies and the LLCs and the 10 million, 20 million, et cetera.
Yep. And Biden denies it all.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.